Yeah, y'all gonna stop coming in my live talking about this Victor dude, bro. We hooping this year. Y'all gonna see.
Hi team, today we have some news regarding Chris Paul. Shout out to CP3 Region for bringing this to X. But there was a report today by Mark Steen on Chris Paul's future with the Spurs. Anticipation is building that Paul could be on the move again this offseason. It is difficult to see how there would be room in the Spurs backcourt next season, and with the Spurs getting the number 2 pick, I kind of figured that Chris Paul was going to leave if he wasn't going to be taking that assistant coaching spot that Mitch Johnson left wide open as he became the head coach. But I don't think y'all should be surprised by this. I know some people say that the Spurs guard room is going to be packed, and I don't think it's going to be packed, but I don't think there would be any room for Chris Paul because of the type of player that Dylan Harper is. We're going to talk a little bit more about Dylan Harper in a bit, but shout out to Chris Paul for coming to San Antonio and helping the team win. You know the Chris Paul effect. When Chris Paul gets there, their win percentage increases compared to the year when they didn't have him. So shout out to CP3. He left a good impact, and hopefully the guys can carry on some of those things that Chris Paul taught them. I know Wemby for sure picked his brain, but hopefully Steph Castle also learned some things. Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sohan, and all the core guys can help use CP3's knowledge to build forward. But like I said, I don't think there was going to be any room for Chris Paul, and that is because another report also came out. Stein has a similar report to Gavoni. We went over that a couple of videos ago where it said the Spurs are looking to take Dylan Harper with the number 2 pick, and Stein is kind of confirming that. Rookie of the Year season, since winning the May 12th draft lottery, San Antonio has likewise attempted to convey a desire to rival teams that it intends to keep the number 2 overall pick in next month's draft to select Rutgers' Dylan Harper. The Spurs have mentioned over and over again they want to build something similar to OKC through the draft, and although some might think that's not exciting, not me. I think it's actually very exciting that the Spurs are adding the number 2 pick to a core like this. But whether you think it's exciting or not, it's definitely the right move, cap-wise, camaraderie-wise, and it's how you build a dynasty. You got to be a little patient. So this report confirms our thinking. I'm really excited to see Dylan Harper, Castle, Fox, and Wemby. In our last video, we saw Stephon Castle working on his jump shot, kind of preparing himself to move to an off-ball role. And although I don't think Harper will be starting in the beginning, I do think that he will eventually be that starting 2 guard because I would prefer to let him lead that second unit. And that is why I think Chris Paul will be leaving. Instead of having Chris Paul be that 6th man, now you have Dylan Harper. And I know Dylan Harper is a 2nd overall pick, and so I don't think he will be that 6th man forever. Obviously, he has a lot of potential, and you don't want to limit that to him being a 6th man. But if you leave him to lead the second unit and watching how he grows, he will tell you when he will be ready to be in that starting lineup. I think Devin Vassell has earned the right to be starter going into next season. You can't just let a rookie come in and take over Vassell's spot when he's making that much money. But I think once we see Dylan Harper kind of take that jump to where he is able to be a starter, we will know, and you will see him inserted in that starting lineup over Devin Vassell, and maybe he gets moved, or maybe he just goes to the bench, rides out this contract, and then re-signs on a smaller deal. Who knows? But what I want to talk about here is just Dylan Harper. You see you have Ben Simmons and also San Antonio Spurs point guard De'Aaron Fox in the same list, and these are just high-level freshmen right here. You can kind of compare their stats. They're all high-usage guys, but I want to take a look at Dylan Harper's stats. So the thing that I want to talk about the most is this close to field goal percentage. We all know he is a 6'6" guard with his shoes on, but he gets to the rim with ease and he converts at a high level. 70% for a guard is very elite. That is higher than John Wall in college, and it's also higher than De'Aaron Fox. Cooper Flagg as well, and so him being a point guard, that's very impressive. I think his play style will match with De'Aaron Fox's whenever they are the 1 and 2 backcourt because they can both push the pace and they both apply rim pressure. That is one thing the Spurs have lacked for a little while now, and adding Dylan Harper to that along with Fox and Stephon Castle, Spurs are going to be getting to the rim with ease. And the reason I think this is such a good fit is because you have the 7'5" alien. When he comes past half court, teams have been starting to run out at him as soon as he catches the ball on the logo. Take a look at this picture right here. If you have these dynamic scoring guards who get to the rim with ease and then you have the alien out there, what do you do about that? So he's just going to open up the paint for everyone. And if he's converting at a 70% clip, it's going to be a tough kryptonite for anyone trying to guard them. Now, what y'all might say about his 3-point percentage, 33%, I know it isn't great, but that's also not terrible. He shot way better than Fox in college, and you see that although Fox isn't like the greatest shooter, he is a serviceable shooter. You're not going to leave him wide open for 3. And so I have some belief that Dylan Harper will be a good shooter someday, as he has shown flashes, although it's not as consistent as you would want it to be. He can definitely shoot the ball, and I think that will come later on in him being in an NBA gym and getting reps up. I think some people forget that Wemby shot around like 29% or 31% in France. Some people were saying that he's more of an Anthony Davis type shooter than he is a Kevin Durant type shooter. And as you can see, that is not true. He has limitless range, and I think he's going to be a great shooter from this point on. I mean, I think he was even a great shooter last season. But overall, the team will just continue to keep on improving. And 3-pointers per 100 possessions, Dylan Harper actually leads the pack in all of these freshmen. Ben Simmons didn't shoot anything, so don't try to compare their 2 3-point field goal percentages. He shot a solid amount of threes. It's nothing crazy, but that's not his game. But this shows you that he's not afraid to put it up, and if you leave it open, he's going to shoot it. And Rutgers was a bad team, so he's not getting just wide open looks as of where you're playing with Wemby. He's going to see double and triple teams. So if you're wide open, I'm pretty sure this number is going to look far better than 33%, along with De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle. Anyone on the team, their open looks, they should be able to capitalize on. And this is where I think Dylan Harper is just elite. 2-point field goal percentage, 57%. He leads everyone in this category. And this is similar to Shea. He just has such efficient scoring numbers from 2-point range. Obviously, you want to see some of that translate out to the 3-point range, but I think this just shows how elite he is. For God's sake, he has a better field goal percentage than Ben Simmons and Cooper Flagg from this season. And he is going to help the Spurs shot creation because we had a lack of that before we traded for Fox. We didn't see much of De'Aaron Fox, so I can't speak on that. But if you need a bucket, you can give the ball to Dylan Harper, and if he gets 2 feet in the mid-range area or in the paint, it's looking like he is going to convert with 70% and 57%. And so adding another player who can put the ball in the basket alongside Wemby will only help the core in the long run. And he is a ball dominant type of player. He had a 28-29% usage rate along with 27 assist percentage, and so he will need the ball in his hands, and that is why I see Chris Paul leaving so Dylan Harper can have his shot and running the second unit. And you can also stagger minutes with Steph Castle and De'Aaron Fox and kind of integrate and build their chemistry together, but it doesn't have to be end all be all where you have to start all 3 of them together and it look a little rough. At times it might look rough, but if you could stagger it and have Dylan Harper come off the bench at first and integrate it slowly, I think things will go a lot smoother and it has a chance to work. I think it has a really good chance to work. But leave y'all's thoughts down below in the comment section. As always, be sure to leave a like. And also, I will be on SSPN's channel. Here is a picture of that. So y'all be sure to subscribe and be on the lookout. I'm not too sure when it will come out, but I'm pretty sure it will be soon. But if you love Spurs Spotlight and like hearing me yap about the Spurs, I will be on their channel and talking about the Spurs. So y'all be on the lookout for that. And as always, it has been your boy Chris, and I will catch y'all later. I'm out.